Warning, warning, you have a virus. Not in your computer, not in your phone, but in your mind. Alright, welcome to the Third Power Life podcast. Today doing some fun stuff on debugging your life. One of the things that I love technology, right? I've been a programmer for a long time. I think I wrote my first computer program in 1980, actually. TRS-80, color computer. It's fantastic. And so I've always thought of, human beings there are a lot of parallels between the software world and the way that we work. And, it's definitely not a perfect analogy, right? There are definitely differences. However, there are some things that are spot on. And one of it comes to the software of our mind, right? That's our framework that we use for how we interact with the world. And I was having a conversation with one of my future guests for a podcast, and they mentioned something about how we have like this mind virus where we want to work too much. And I thought that is so good. I've kind of taken that and run with it. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about today is this concept of a mind virus, and in particular, this particular virus is a really nasty one, right? It is the work obsession virus, right? We have this thought in our heads that, we need to be working all the time. We need to be constantly have stuff going on, and providing is usually the what we tell ourselves is, well, we're working hard to provide for our families and to provide for ourselves and all of that. And while any good lie, especially the lies we tell ourselves, has a basis in truth. And the truth is, yes, we do need to work. We do need material prosperity, right? That's a necessary element in our world today. However, it gets overdone. We use it way too much. And the societal pressure, right, is there. That's, so it's not really our fault that we have this. It's in the environment. It was passed on from user to user, right? And we have to figure out how to overcome it. For those of you who have sat still for more than 5 minutes, I've probably told you that my personal mission is to make the song Cats in the Cradle just a song and not a story about anybody, right? Don't work to the exclusion of your relationships and your family and all of that. And so this mind virus is so sneaky, right? Because it can feel good, right? We're working hard, work hard, get promoted, make more money, repeat until you die, right? And so we have to be very, very aware of it, right? So what are some of the symptoms that you might have this work obsession mind virus, right? There's this constant feeling of being busy. I need to be busy all the time. And corporate America feeds into that, right? We always need to be productive. We always have to be doing something. We always have to be supplying, right? It's this push that we have that, that society has. And we've even got like the hustle culture, right? Where, trust me, I am all for hustling, doing a side business, right? I mean, I'm literally hustling right now, right? But again, within limits, and that culture that we have to constantly be doing, right? And as human being, it's be, it's do, then have. We want to have and we want to do all the time, but we forget about being, the primary thing that we really need to be doing in our lives, right? Because we end up neglecting both our relationships and our personal care, right? We don't go work out. We don't take care of our bodies. We don't take care of our minds. We don't tend to spend enough time reading because we're trying to be productive all the time. And we can't disconnect from work, right? I don't know about you, got one of these little guys right here, And I can be connected to work like that instantly, and frequently am, right? Sometimes you even dream about work. For my data geeks out there, it's select star from dreams where work equals incomplete, right? We have to get away from that. We have to beat back these societal expectations and the feeling like we're falling behind and we're in this race, right? It's not worth it. And honestly, it's a misalignment, right? It's a misalignment between the actions that we're taking and our true purpose, which is why I talk about purpose so much, right? One of the biggest ways that we can cure this is by having a purpose, right? Because here's the deal: if you don't deal with this virus, what happens, right? Burnout, right? How many of us are stressed to the point of being burnt out, right? A lot of us. Our relationships get strained. We miss out on opportunities, right? When I was younger and starting out in the corporate world, I was working crazy hours. I mean, I worked a 140-hour work week once, which there are only 168 hours in the entire week. So that's hard to do. I had a sleeping bag at my desk, right? Don't do that. But what ends up happening is your relationships get messed up. I mean, I missed out time on my kids when they were growing up. Ended up getting in divorce, and a lot of that was because I wasn't there to have the communication. And even when I was there, I wasn't there because I was still thinking about work. That mind virus was going crazy, right? And here's the really interesting part, though, is that we tend to lose our productivity and our creativity, right? When we're always on, you might be churning through a whole bunch of stuff, but you're doing it poorly, right? And the creativity, the creative spirit has no opportunity to take hold. If we're working all the time and our brain is constantly in work mode, there is no room for real creativity. You have to have downtime. You have to have time that's away in order to generate that creative thought. You just do. How do we fix it? Right? How do we create our own antivirus? Well, the first is recognizing you have it. Right? It's recognizing the symptoms of this work obsession virus. Right? It's, am I thinking about work all the time? Am I truly able to disconnect? And I will tell you the true cure for it is knowing your personal purpose. Because when you truly understand your purpose, you now know, is what I'm doing serving that ultimate purpose? It's figuring out, how do I balance my ambition, right? How do I balance my ambition with my well-being? That's the real key to curing this mind virus. What can we do? What are the action steps? I'm like, Dan, this is great. You've given me some good ideas, but what do I actually need to do? The first is regular system scans, right? Do some self-reflection, right? Write in a journal. Think about, is this really what I want from my life? Because I never asked that when I was younger. My purpose in life was to make more money. That is not a purpose in life. That is a means to an end, right? So, not saying that making more money is wrong. Trust me, I love the whole capitalist idea of making more. But at what cost? So take the time for reflection, does this align with my purpose? And the next is install some boundaries, right? Put up some firewalls, right? Learn to say no. I did an entire podcast about no. As my friend Phil used to say, no is a complete sentence, right? Put up those boundaries. Set limits for what you will and will not do. And then upgrade your operating system, right? What are some new habits, new ideas, new thoughts? Be constantly reading, constantly be doing things like listening to this podcast. Congratulations. You just got a little bit of inoculation against the work-obsessed mind virus. Because here's the thing, you will be more productive. You will be more fulfilled. You will be happier. And you will be starting to live as a true commander in your life, not continuing to drift. Because the mind virus wants you to drift. Right? You need to take command. Right? Now, the last thing, what you really need to do is you go to my website, sign up for my newsletter, and get the real... I'm going to start sending out inoculation emails. Here's how you can inoculate yourself. Here's how you can debug your life. And if you really want to take your life to that next level and get some good debugging in, I still have a few spots left for my one-on-one challenge. All right, this is you get coached by me. It's just you and me on a calls for a few days a week for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and we talk about what kind of viruses you got going on. Right? All right, my friends. We've got to debug our lives. We've got to get rid of these mind viruses that we have. This work-obsessed mind virus is a killer. It literally and figuratively. Right? It's what leads us to stress. It's what leads us to burnout. It's why, Monday is one of the biggest heart attack days. Sunday night, Monday morning. The biggest heart attack periods of time because we're going back to work. Don't let that be your story. Let's get rid of this mind virus. Let's install some antivirus. Get it out of there. And that is how we live our life to the third power. Till tomorrow, my friends. And now, a word from our sponsor. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Third Power Life Podcast. Remember, debugging your life is an ongoing process. We've tackled the work obsession virus today, but there are many more mental bugs to be squashed. If you're ready to upgrade your mental software and remove those pesky bugs of bad habits and limiting beliefs, head over to www.thirdpowerperformance.com. Sign up for our newsletter to get weekly tips on debugging your life and becoming the true commander of your destiny. Until next time, this is Dan Gentry reminding you to keep scanning, keep debugging, and living your life to the third power.